What's up, guys? My name is Brett, and I am here with Mitten State Sports Corner. Obviously, you guys have seen our
I
pretty
was I
faces
was say
several
this is only
times.
probably like the 60th episode, and you're still introducing yourself like it's the first time people have heard your voice.
Well, for some people it is, Brett. I don't know why you got to be so negative. It's not
That's
very
not
nice.
even being negative, just pointing out a fact.
Okay, well, for those of you that don't know, this is Brett with two T's, and he always has an opinion. So that's who he is.
No, I wouldn't say an opinion, but I would say sarcasm.
Yeah, that's a fact. Thanks for joining us, guys. Here we've got a lot to talk about today. Starting with March Madness, of course, the madness that it is, has been I would say a little calm
Yeah, it's
overall.
been pretty calm.
There has not been as many upsets as prior years. As Brett just we were just talking about prior to recording here. Our bracket is 82% right now,
Yep.
so that's like the top 4 million out of 10 plus
We
million.
are
And
ranked 4,207,091.
okay, I'll take the top 40%. Whatever. I mean, we did this like literally on a whim for fun and with no intentions of winning.
And we had no structure.
None. None. Matter of fact, we went to mascot fighting at the end. So
Correct.
I think we're doing all right for dealing on those terms. And
So there were more than 24 million brackets made on ESPN, which is where we did ours, and we're
oh, okay.
in
So
the
we're even
top
better than that.
4.2.
I'm in with that so far. That's incredible. Yeah, you know, starting off with like the fact that we have four Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16, I think is great.
And then the rest is pretty SEC dominant, not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
So we can run through a couple of these matchups, kind of see where we're at, what our predictions are. Obviously, you know what our bracket's like, even though Brett hasn't posted it. Um,
I can't figure out how to like copy and paste this thing from ESPN, man.
That's
Sorry.
okay. You're all right. I'm giving you shit anyway.
But if they
Um,
listen to the episode, they would know.
that's true. That's true. You guys got to stay tuned. So, who do we got? In the Sweet 16
I
matchups.
got to give ourselves high fives.
Okay.
I was just telling you this, but our South region, which is where Sparty and Michigan are, we only have one incorrect game of that whole region so far, and that was the first Louisville Creighton game.
Yeah, that was
That's
something
the
that
only game we lost in that
I don't
region.
think we agreed on that game either. To be
I
honest.
wanted, yeah, I wanted Creighton. You wanted Louisville. That's what I think that was the first flip we did.
Yeah, we flipped an SD card, and
Yep.
look where that led. Maybe we should have went. I don't know, tails or whatever. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Regardless, this is where we're at. So, what do we got in the South region for Sweet 16 matchups? So, what are we looking like?
So let's start off with our team.
Yeah.
Auburn versus Michigan. Michigan looked pretty good in that second half against Texas A&M
Mm-hmm.
for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously Texas A&M is a good team, and they had
One of the best rebounding teams in the
yep,
country,
and
and they out
they out
rebounded
rebounded them. Yep,
significantly, and they played significantly better than Texas A&M in the second half.
correct,
I mean,
especially coming down the stretch.
the bigs took over the game, which is exactly what needs to happen. And
But we did semi talk about this game already, so
yeah, and we predicted this game, and we predicted Michigan to win the game, and then we predicted them to play Auburn, and that's exactly how it's unfolded.
hey,
And
Creighton was giving Auburn a little fits for a second there, but Auburn took over at the end. So yeah, Auburn Michigan matchup this Friday
mhm.
at 9:30 start,
Yeah, and Auburn's a good team, man. And I got to tell you,
and that's gonna be a home game for them because it's in Atlanta.
yeah, and obviously as a Michigan fan, my heart pulls for Michigan, but my bracket pulls for Auburn, and that's just the reality of the
Right,
situation,
right.
But would I be shocked if Michigan beat them? Not a chance, because this team is good enough to beat big time teams, but they have to play almost perfect, right? Like they got to have less than I would say 12 turnovers.
Hmm.
They've got to shoot 75% plus from the free throw line. They've got to shoot 33 to 35% plus from 3. Any one of those things doesn't happen and they probably lose the game.
Hmm.
Um but it's going to be the rebounding. It's going to be the turnovers. It's going to be it's going to be the defense. It's going to be the Roddy Gales. That's what's going to be the
He's got.
difference for Michigan in this game and I don't think that they're going to underestimate Auburn. And so I also got Trey Donaldson playing against his former team.
Hmm.
So he's pretty
And
pumped about
Donaldson
that.
has come on pretty strong in these. He started starting the Big Ten tournament,
Yeah.
and then he's carried over in these two NCAA games so far. He's played pretty good.
How about that like lefty bank shot against A&M?
That was just. I don't even think it was a bake shot. I think it was just a floater.
It wasn't yeah, whatever. It was incredible. He's not a guy that's going out and getting 25, 30 points a game, but the baskets that he's making and when he's making them are absolute
I
clutch.
do not condone texting and driving, but I definitely did. I was driving at the time
Yeah.
at the end of this game, and I did have my YouTube TV pulled up on my phone in the center console.
Yeah.
and I did peek over
Whoa,
at
yeah,
one
I'm sure you
second and
just
saw
peeked
it.
over. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's I'm excited to see it, man. So, moving past them, what's the other game we got in the South region?
Ole Miss, Michigan State. So give me 5. We correctly picked Ole Miss over Iowa State, an upset pick
And that
in
was
the
a,
second round
that
game.
proved to be a good pick.
Yep.
And Michigan State, a lot like Michigan, right? Like kind of a poor 3-point shooting team. Don't always win the rebound battle. Don't always, I say they can, but they don't always. They have a lot more depth than Michigan, I would
Right.
say overall, which is what won them that game, I will say.
I would say the two games that they've played so far, they've come out pretty flat and they let the other team get a nice little lead
Yeah.
to start the game. But they brought it back at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
And then they would just take over in the second.
Well, what's really like for me as a Michigan fan, potentially like a small chance of seeing them next game.
That'd be wild.
That'd be wild. But what's kind of concerning to me is Jace Richardson at one point was like 1 of 10 from the field,
Mm-hmm.
and they were winning.
Yeah.
That's scary to me. That tells you how much depth that team has. And
Well, Cohen Carr coming off the bench, man.
yeah, well, he was Roddy Gale for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, that's exactly what it was. Roddy Gale, mind you, had 26 points. I owe him an apology. You owe him an apology. We all owe him an apology as Michigan fans.
I do.
All of us as Michigan fans in general. I'm not saying you ripped him apart, but just in general, like we all kind of, probably owe him a little bit more, So, I would say that the biggest thing that Michigan State can do to look a little more concrete going forward, would definitely be to come out strong. They got to come out in the first half and really assert their dominance on whomever they play, because they are good enough to hold that lead. They got a good and deep enough bench to hold the lead and potentially stretch the lead even with their bench players. And obviously having Izzo behind there is invaluable. So I look for Michigan State to win that game.
So fun fact for you for this region.
Yeah.
It is guaranteed to have you're guaranteed at least an SEC team or Big Ten team in the Final Four.
That's impressive. Yeah.
At least.
The two big conferences, the super conferences now, as they may call them.
So now you're guaranteed at least one from one of those conferences going to be in the Final Four, and that's just one region.
Right.
So let's jump over to the East region.
Okay. Who do we got?
Duke, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Is Arizona in the Big 12 now?
I don't know.
think so.
I don't know.
I think
actually,
so. I
honestly.
think
I
so.
don't know
Yeah.
offhand. I assume
I would
so.
assume, yeah. And then we got BYU, Alabama. BYU with the upset over Wisconsin. So BYU, Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, we picked Alabama to win that game. I don't know. BYU's played decent.
Right. Shooting the ball very well.
They're not a team that Alabama should overlook. I can tell you that much, because it's going to be ugly. Again, same situation. My heart pulls for BYU. My bracket says Alabama.
It does.
And the same thing for Duke. Like, I'm not confident Duke's going to win. I'm not. I'll be honest with you. A lot of people, I'm not. I guess let me clarify. I'm not saying this game. I'm saying it all. I don't have confidence that Duke's going to win it all. I really don't. I just don't. And I know that's going to be a hot take, and people are going to light me up for that. I don't care. I don't trust Duke as much as others. Have they been a good team? Yes. All of these teams that are, when you get to the Sweet 16, I'm here to tell you right now, all these teams are good. That's just a fact. They have flaws? Yes. Do they have problems? Yes. Are some better than others in the 16? Yes. I don't find Duke to be a top 2. I don't.
It's tough to argue that, considering in round 1 and round 2, they've won by a combined 67 points.
I get that. I understand the optics. Again, I'm telling you, when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, how many games has Duke won where they've had to go out and slug it out compared to our squad? Let's just say, for example, and I'm not saying comparing these two like together, I'm saying for what it is. Like, Michigan has won how many one-score games, right? They've been in how many one-score games? That battle test late in the postseason can set you apart.
Are you kind of saying that Michigan would beat Duke right now?
I'm saying if they got to that situation, Michigan would have the advantage with the battle-tested close games. Does that mean they win? I don't know.
Connor, clip this one.
Clip it.
And put it on our social media and let him
do.
get roasted, please.
That's fine. I hope that you guys do, because
that's a hot take.
It is a hot take. And you know what? At the end of the day, I I very well could be wrong, and I will
Yes.
be happy to admit it. That's fine. But I don't know. Something for me tells me that Duke's not the team. Again, not denying their talent, not denying their validity of being here. Just they're not the top. They're not a top 2 team for me to make it to the finals. They're just not. So I'm
Oh,
saying that
all right.
things could be a little murky. They might win this game, but going forward, it's going to be tough.
Well, all right then.
We can tell that Brett does not agree with it.
No, that's wow.
That's okay. He'll get over
That's
it.
wow.
Let's move to the next region. We'll see how much you agree with that one.
Midwest region. We got Houston versus Purdue, which we also had McNeese going. We didn't have Purdue even coming out of the first round.
Yeah,
So
that's tough. Purdue's played much better. Purdue did not look good going into the tournament, just
no,
like Michigan.
not at all.
Right? Aside from like the Big Ten tournament, of course, Michigan did much better there. But they had a similar vibe in the sense they were kind of trending off, and they've stepped it up, played some decent ball, and so we'll see what happens there. But I do not pick Purdue to win that game.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
No.
But then we got
Houston,
an all SEC battle in this Sweet 16 of Kentucky and Tennessee.
I'm going Tennessee as we picked before. Tennessee is going to make it to the Final Four. I think they are a good team. They're deep. They shoot the ball well. They're well coached. All the normal stuff you'd need out of a Final Four matchup. But I like the odds here. I'm going to go with Tennessee.
Per your predictions so far, you're saying 3 SEC teams in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Hope you know that.
I know. It is what it is. That's just how it's going to be.
I
Again, the heart test and what the bracket says are a little different right now, but that's how.
Well, after watching 2 games, your opinion can change.
Well, sure it can. Your opinion can change right now, and it could change in 5 minutes. It's just how it is. If they don't like my pick, they can watch something else.
So the West region, Florida versus Maryland. I know you're probably
Terps.
Jesus.
Terps.
Gators would destroy a Terp.
They might, but them Terps be surfing, dude. Let's do it. Hey, I think Maryland is shocking the world right now. People aren't giving them credit.
Hot take. Do you think Queen traveled on his game-winning shot?
Yes.
I saw it on the.
Hey,
I was watching it live, and I was just like, was that like not 6 steps?
Did you see the Trae Young 6-step situation against the Warriors the other night?
No.
He was shoved to half court, and they counted 6 steps on TV, and then he passed the ball. And Kerr's like, do you plan on calling that? Or no, they did not. And it's the same thing. I mean, let me tell you, first of all, Queen's shot was great. That was a truly remarkable shot. The presser after the game, he's like, look, I mean, at the end of the day, they didn't call it. But what a great shot. And Maryland survives. And it doesn't matter at this point how you get there, right? It's just about win and move on. And they did just that. And they have upheld our end of the bracket over there. If it ain't going to be Michigan, let's go Maryland. Let's do it. Sneaky team.
That was just, I was watching. I'm like, that was a.
Can you imagine how much shit I'm going to get if Maryland were to face Duke in the finals? Something wild like that. Can you imagine what would happen? The world would light me up for days.
Not really, but yeah.
They would.
It would be me.
The world being you. You're my world. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, kind of. You probably call me more than you call your wife.
That's not true. But that's because you don't answer sometimes, so I have to call you. That's okay.
Well, you text me at weird times of the day.
I text you when I can.
Weird times
of the day. I have to work. Yeah, I don't get the luxury of working from home.
You should try it sometime. It's great.
I should, yeah. If somebody would hire me for a home job, that'd be great.
All right, so here's another Sweet 16 matchup that we did get correct. Texas Tech and Arkansas. We got that correct, the 3-10 matchup.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about this one compared to where you were before? You feel like this is the end of Arkansas's run?
Yeah, I would say so. I definitely would, but I don't know, man. They've played well. They've beaten some good teams to get to where they are.
Calipari's ascending,
right? So, and then yeah, that's a coin flip game for me, honestly.
You gonna make a bold prediction on that, or do you want me to make that bold prediction?
I already know where. If you're already putting it like that, I already know what you're gonna do. You're gonna say they're gonna keep rolling.
I do agree that Texas Tech wins the game, but if I'm going bold prediction, yeah, sure, Arkansas by 5.
By 5, but he's even putting money on it. Jesus.
Yeah. So, we'll see. But what's the final matchup you got there? No, what's the last matchup in that region?
That's it.
Was
It
that the
was
last
Florida,
one? Oh, that
Maryland.
was it.
That
Oh, I'm
was it.
sorry. So
Um,
what do we got left now? So now if we say all those things are true, what do we got in the Elite Eight compared to where we were at before?
what do you mean?
So like who's going to be in the Elite Eight after those picks? We'd have Michigan State,
And
we'd have
Auburn.
Auburn, we'd have Tennessee.
Then it sounds like you're saying Arizona and Alabama.
No,
That's exactly what you said, pretty much.
I'm saying if Duke wins that game, they don't go beyond that. That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying Duke, Alabama, then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alabama can beat Duke.
Then
No
we
doubt.
got
All the pressure's on Duke
Houston,
every
Purdue,
year.
or Kentucky, Tennessee. You said Houston, Tennessee.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. That's not
Texas
bad.
Tech, Arkansas, and Florida, Maryland. You're taking Maryland
I am.
and Arkansas.
I am.
Oh boy,
You're not.
so that's another All SEC Elite Eight over there. We got SEC Homer over here.
I am definitely not an SEC homer.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I can pick them to win a game and not be a homer. So
That's what it sounds like to me. What are you, ESPN?
Yep, sure am. Call me Stephen A. Smith, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. But
Paul Feinbaum.
yeah, right. Yeah, the most hated man in sports. Like, get the fuck out of here. Um, yeah, that's going to be an interesting set of matchups, man. Like, and again, as we spoke before, like any of these teams could be interchanged, and it would be totally justifiable, right, in its own way. But man, what a great set of matchups, honestly. Like,
Not
I'm
bad.
excited to see them, and
It
again,
sucks that there's not really a Cinderella in there right now.
yeah,
I guess the one would be Arkansas,
it's hard to say that with
or even
Calipari
B,
coaching, right? Like,
or even BYU.
yeah, I would say
Other
BYU
than
more than
that, like you
Arkansas.
really don't have any more. There's no Cinderella story this year.
Yeah,
The closest being Arkansas, but yeah, that's I wouldn't say it's tainted, but it's not like
yeah,
a true Cinderella because you have fucking John Calipari on your bench.
right.
It's not like a
hard to
team
bet
that we
against 'em.
just found out existed 2 days ago. Like how the usual Cinderella, like when Fairleigh Dickinson or St. Peter's,
McNeese State,
McNeese,
yeah,
and then
UC
George
San
Mason
Diego,
back in
right? All those kind of
2006, the
teams, like,
VCU run,
right?
Wichita State.
Loyola, Chicago Loyola,
Yeah, like
yeah,
there isn't one of those true Cinderellas this year, which is a little disappointing.
it is. That is, but maybe
Did
we'll
you
have.
see today? So the transfer portal opened for college
Oh,
basketball today.
don't get
Did
me
you see
started.
over 500 players have already gone into the portal?
All right, you've opened the worms now. Listen, let me tell you some shit. This is bullcrap. I'm here to tell you that there is zero room in the world where a player should have to make a decision on going on a playoff run with his team and going in the transfer portal. I'm sorry. The only time that I could justify that is if, like, and again, I don't even agree with that even, but like the only time I could maybe justify that is if it was like the NIT or something, right? Like, because then it
Well,
doesn't
yeah.
really matter. But you can't have that rule. So
I agree.
a lot of people say, "Oh, the NCAA's got to have a blanket season." Why can't you have? And I would love to be told otherwise. Why can you not have different transfer portal seasons for different sports?
And I think
Why can't you?
it puts the players in such a bind, dude, because
Yeah.
it opens today, and if you do truly want to transfer, like
Mhm.
you got to get in the portal right away, or else like if you wait until your team's season is done,
You could miss out on a
you
good
could miss
opportunity.
out because,
Millions of dollars
because
nowadays.
a team already filled a spot that you're looking to get into, you know?
Mhm. Well, think about this. So, if you recall last year, Alex Orji went in the transfer portal from Michigan, and he chose to stick around, right, with the team through the Alabama game.
Right.
Ended up at UNLV.
Mhm.
Now, granted, he was not a top 5 player in college football,
I didn't. I mean, we did talk about this. I didn't think he was going to go anywhere prestigious.
but the example remains that those kinds of things could happen. Now, do I think that athletes should have a chance to transfer? I do. My personal stance on this is you get one time. You get one time to transfer free of charge. After that, it costs you. And that means sitting out
Okay.
time or whatever.
Like it used to be.
Yeah. Now, the only time I do find to be the exception is if a coaching change or organizational change happens.
Right.
Because you committed to that coach or that philosophy and they abandoned ship. That's not your fault. You should be allowed a waiver or
Yes.
that 30-day window like they do now. I like that. I do not agree with the fact that players have to choose between going to a national championship game potentially with their team that they signed up for or going in the portal. And a lot of people go, well, they shouldn't enter the portal. That's not fair. What if you're a graduate? Like, what if you've graduated or are graduating, right?
Yeah, like, and it
And
comes
now
to where, like, the team's saying, like, "Sorry, dude, we just don't have a spot for
we
you. We
don't
got
have
these recruits coming in."
we have these big names coming in. And we need that scholarship next year.
Right.
What now? And now you have screwed them for next year. Like it can go both ways. And let me tell you, these teams, or I'm sorry, these schools, right, have made millions of dollars off these players for years. Okay, so the players should. I'm going to side with the student athlete in this regard. Like they need to have a little power, not too much, not like the NBA, but they need to have a little power in this scenario, and they need to make some money off off of their NIL. It's a little crazy the other direction for me, but this whole situation of like guys entering the portal while like Justin Pippen is in the portal and
Did
his
he even get a lot of playing time?
no, he's a freshman that didn't play, he got injured, whatever.
And that's why he's hitting the portal.
And that's the world we're in. I don't agree with it, and it is what it is. But he had to choose between going to a Sweet 16 team or possibly beyond or entering the portal, right? Like that sucks. That sucks a lot, and that shouldn't be.
And
It
what,
should
like,
be after the
was
freaking
he on the
postseason.
bench this past weekend?
I believe so. Yeah,
So now he just can't?
he's not going to. You can choose
It's just
to or choose not to. That's your choice. Um, think too, like the same goes for coaches. I'm sorry, but Will Wade for McNeese State taking the NC State job before they were even done playing is ridiculous.
right.
You don't tell me that doesn't affect the mentality of that team. And they came out and said, "Oh, I had a conversation with the players and everybody knew what was going on." I don't care.
Well, what's
I don't
also
care.
bullshit is some of these reporters also leaking this information.
Facts.
Like, and because NC State obviously didn't make it official until his season was done, which
Mhm.
rightfully so.
Sure.
But like, yeah, on all the media like leaking all this, it's like, do you need to?
Right.
If he already has a verbal agreement in place, you don't need to report on shit.
No, and think about the fact that
And is that really even that big of news?
Mrazek just went down. He's out.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, he just got nailed though. I mean, not really nailed, but kind of. He got
His
clipped.
leg.
Yeah, he got clipped there. But like I don't know. Like I think you'd think the player would be a little more injured. Um,
I don't know.
Again, I think the opportunities being there is great, right? Like I love to see mid-majors players move their way up and make and star on big teams. I love that story. I don't love them having to choose between finishing out what their commitments and transferring, right? I just don't love that. I don't find it unrealistic to have a transfer portal window after their damn season's done. I don't find that to be unrealistic, and I don't find it to be unrealistic to have it different for different sports. Now, there could be a ton of other factors involved that may be the contrary, but I just think it's crap.
Just why can't we wait until the whole season is fucking over?
My point exactly.
Just why is that not a thing?
Too
And
much money,
why is it always
pride.
during playoff time this shit happens?
Yeah, pride, money, all that shit.
It's just ridiculous, man.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you got over there?
Another bracket.
Yeah, what's that for?
College hockey.
Nice.
College hockey. For the first time in a long time, Michigan is not part of it.
2018-19 season, I believe, wasn't it?
And that was also the very first time in a long time.
Yeah.
So it's not common. Michigan is not in the bracket. But
Mm-hmm.
here we are.
Right.
Here we are. But
Yeah, it's okay. They deserve to take a step back and retool, my opinion.
so I'll break down the teams for you that have made it.
Mhm.
We got Boston College playing Bentley. Bentley, first time in the tournament. Never even heard of them before till now.
Me neither. I'm going to go Boston College on that one.
Yeah, I don't know who these guys are.
Yeah.
Let me look them up.
All right. Yeah, and Michigan not making it, man. Like to even being a Michigan fan, I don't think they deserved it. We both talked about that.
No.
They just weren't impressive enough to make it. It's kind of like UConn, or no, I'm sorry, not UConn, North Carolina
Yeah.
making the NCAA tournament
Yeah.
basketball. I mean, it's just not. It's just not a good look in general. So I'm not upset that Michigan didn't make it. I mean, it sucks, as fans, but I'm not that surprised. They weren't good enough to earn their spot.
So the Bentley Falcons,
Oof, sounds intimidating.
they're from Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
When did they start playing D1? That's the real question. Because I don't think they have.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been around since 1977. They are members of Atlantic Hockey America, formed shortly after the 23-24 season by the merger. Okay, maybe they have been D1 for a while then.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
they
don't know
made the
much
move to
about them.
D1 from 98 and 99.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, so I don't know
Welcome
much.
to the dance.
Here we go.
Good for you guys.
Happy to see.
Yeah. Hell yeah, nice. So yeah, the Bentley Falcons. Welcome. Awesome to see. And the other matchup in this bracket is Providence and Denver. Denver is a blue chip college hockey program. Providence is on that cusp.
Mm-hmm.
Providence has recently won a national championship in the last 10 years. Denver won one a few years ago as well, and they're always a mainstay in this tournament. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sweet, like in general, to see some new teams sneak into these tournaments, right? But like, I don't know. I am still upset that Penn State won both of those damn games that we
I
were
mean,
at. I
well, you
it's,
were.
I was so mad because they were not like they were just like Michigan. There you go. Utah scores on the Red Wings. Perfect. That's just follow that up with Mrazek goes out. Lyon comes in, gives up a goal.
Well, they were on the penalty kill, so
This
yeah,
team,
shocker they gave up a goal in the penalty
this
kill.
team is uninspired. I swear to God, they look terrible.
How can they not kill a penalty?
How can they not win fucking games in 6 years, 10 years, 15 years? Like, Jesus. This is embarrassing.
You have 3 guys below the goal line on a penalty kill. And what does that do? You have 3 guys trying to cover 2 guys.
What is this, Beer League Sundays? Like, come on, dude. Like, come on, it's rookie ball.
Oh, look, it leaves someone wide the fuck open at the dot for a one-timer. Easy goal.
Yeah.
Not even on Lyon at that point.
Yeah. He did. I mean, he did his thing. I mean, it's whatever. It's just, ugh.
Back to the bracket.
Back to the bracket.
Maine and Penn State.
Mm.
Maine Black Bears. Can you name a couple alumni from the Maine Black Bears that have played in the NHL?
No.
Really?
Oh, Jimmy Howard.
Yeah, there you go. Okay,
Jimmy
proud
Howard.
of you.
Yep.
There is another one that's it's big name.
That's all I
Played
got.
back in the 90s.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Paul Correa.
That's interesting. Did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Hobie
know.
Baker winner.
Yeah, I don't
First
know
freshman
much
to win the
about,
Hobie
like,
Baker.
I don't really have a ton of education on that side of things. Like, and I probably should, but yeah, I did know Jimmy went to Maine. Now that I think about it, yeah.
And now,
He's a
also,
terrible announcer, though. Like, I love you, Jimmy, but like,
has
I
he
just
even-
can't
has-
do
has
the
he
Will
even been
Compton
on the broadcast this year?
No, but you
The
can't.
Kaiser's taking over for him.
Like, this is Jimmy Howard up there.
Yeah.
Like the Will Compton. It's funny.
The Will Compton. Jesus.
It's what it looks like. He looks all squared off and shit. Like some fifth grader drew him on and won a contest and put him up there for his suit. Like it's interesting. I don't know.
And
I love you, Jimmy, but man, that's odd.
the other matchup, UConn and Quinnipiac. Quinnipiac is a recent national
Quinnipiac.
championship.
I
They
like
beat
Quinnipiac.
Michigan
Yes,
in the
they did.
national championship a couple years ago.
Quinnipiac.
I like Quinnipiac.
I like Quinnipiac.
UConn's first appearance in the tournament.
I'm not picking them to win. Can't do that. I got to go with Quinnipiac.
Oh, 2-on-1. Tarasenko, you gonna fuck it up?
Are they going to get a shot? Yeah.
Oh, Soderblom. Let's go. Nice pass.
Tarasenko actually
That was a
looked
nice
good
play.
there.
That was a nice
work.
play.
Man.
Because they closed him out and he snuck that pass through.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It is Utah. They should be playing well, but whatever. What do you got? What do you got left?
Kalamazoo, Michigan, the Western Michigan Broncos
Go Broncos.
versus Minnesota State.
Minnesota State's good.
Western Michigan's really good.
Yeah, but Minnesota
Western
State,
Michigan's got the top seed in this.
I know, but man, Minnesota State looks good. That's hard to pick. That's a tough one. I don't know. I'm going Minnesota State. You're gonna go Western.
Come
I'm
on.
sure.
Fuck yeah, I am.
I'm gonna go Minnesota State.
Stay to the roots.
I am. I still want them to win. My God, I don't think that's what will.
And then another blue chip college hockey program, Minnesota.
Minnesota for Minnesota.
Minnesota
no.
versus UMass.
Ooh, man.
You name a UMass alumni that currently plays in the NHL.
Currently plays in the NHL?
Yes. It's a very easy one.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Celebrating? Where did he play?
Oh, Jesus.
Where did he
Christ.
play?
BU.
Was it BU? Okay. I don't know. I really don't know. Like I said, I'm not good at this side.
Cale Makar.
Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. So you're going to beat me every time on that one.
God.
I don't know.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. Um, I mean, like I said, I haven't followed that part of it as much as like
I really haven't either.
where guys played before they
Oh,
got
that part.
drafted,
I
kind
thought
of
you were
stuff.
just talking about the bracket in general.
Yeah, I haven't followed that hardly at all since Michigan got beat before they even got there. I was so mad at the whole situation.
And then on the other side, so we got another blue chip, BU versus
Mm.
Ohio State Fuckeyes,
I will never fucking pick Ohio State for
right?
anything in their entire life unless it is to tear their stadium down. Then I'm picking them because I would love to see it. Other than that, no, I won't ever pick them. I don't care how good they are.
Where did Jack Eichel go to college?
I don't know.
BU.
Did he really? Why is everybody from BU? They're good, but damn, it's just interesting. But listen, this bracket aside, I'm going to say something. I I would like to know your opinion on, do you think overall the better crop of players come from
Had to sneak this one in there.
college, international, or U.S. development team?
Or you talk also Canadian junior leagues.
And now Canadian junior leagues as of this
Well,
year, right?
they're all
Yeah,
the
but that was the
same,
first year they were able to like be a part of things was this year for
but
Canada.
they still
They've
obviously,
always contributed.
yeah, they're
I get it.
it's all honestly I don't think there really is a definitive leader in that pack.
I just want your opinion.
I know. I don't think there's a definitive leader in that pack. I think obviously if you look at it from this perspective, like Jack Eichel came from college hockey, Larkin came from college hockey, Kel McCarr came from college hockey, you know, and we got Jake Ottinger, college
Right?
hockey
Sure.
goalie.
Yeah.
But then
Spencer Knight was the U.S. development team, right?
right,
Like, there's another side of that too, and I, I don't know.
but then you look at
It's
like
tough.
the Canadian junior leagues. McDavid came from there.
Hmm.
Crosby came from there. Nathan McKinnon came from there.
Good players, all good.
International. So you look at shit. Look at majority of the goalies in the league now. They all came from international. They didn't play over here.
Hmm. I think personally, if you're asking my opinion, I think college hockey seasons them better. How's that? And that may not be the question, but like, I think college hockey, if they stay their commitment, prepares them a little more. Now, international hockey may have you may have kids that are 16, 17, 18 years old playing adults, and that may season them to a degree, but I think that with the overseas adjustments and then the rink size, like all of that takes into
I would say
consideration.
the overall level of play in like the Europe Pro leagues obviously is not on any level that's over here. In
No,
my
and that's what
perspective.
I'm saying. So it definitely is a little bit of a notch down in general, but I do think college hockey is slightly a tick above for me, but it's a close draw.
But that's why I think sometimes when you get international players,
Hmm.
I would say college hockey and Canadian junior leagues are here, internationals here.
Yeah.
I would, and then I also put the development program in with this because, but majority of the time, development program they go to colleges next.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm
So
talking just the kids that strictly stuck with that and nothing else, right? Like it,
you're right.
which has happened plenty of times.
So, but international level, there is a very big adjustment period for them
Hmm.
coming from Europe to North America
Besides
because
just the language barrier,
the game is totally different.
smaller rink,
It is a smaller rink, yes. It's a more physical game over here.
completely different style of coaching.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. So I would put Canadian juniors and college and NTTP over international
Hmm.
because of yeah, like you were saying, coming out of those three leagues, they're more NHL ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, you could argue for any of them, but I do agree with you. I do agree with you. That's probably where it should be. Um,
And what's cool is you do see a lot of college players that they didn't get drafted, but once they finish their 4 years, they get signed as an undrafted free agent at
hmm.
that point.
Hmm.
And some of them go on to some good careers, like Luke Glendening did. Luke Glendening is still playing.
Yeah, he's had a good career for
Mhm.
like not for like how he has not like overly separated himself.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I've been very impressed with the longevity of his career for
Right.
where he was at. So or where he is at, I guess I should say. But
So we still have one more game we have not discussed yet. and it
Mhm.
is Trey Augustine versus Cornell.
Trey Augustine's been great. Like literally great. And I'm excited to see him in Detroit. Now Ben Rode commented and said you'll never see Casa or Augustine in the winged wheel. I don't believe him. I'm not saying that one of them can't be traded, right? Like it's a business. At the end of the day, I understand it.
I don't. They would never get traded, in my personal opinion.
I don't think it's not possible though. I didn't think Spencer Knight would be traded. And again, I know that he went through
He
a little
had
bit,
problems.
but I didn't think he'd be traded, and he was. That was kind of surprising still, nevertheless. But anything can happen, dude. Business is
They won't.
business.
They won't get traded.
But
No.
I agree that
If
or
they
should I
get
say I disagree that
if they
you
get
will see
traded,
one of them in the winged wheel for sure.
if they get traded, it's 4 years from now, and they haven't cracked the NHL because they haven't been good enough.
Yeah,
That's when they
that
might get traded.
might be a better way to put it. But
That's
they both look good. Augustine looks great.
right.
He really does. Casa has been great, dude, and he's huge. You can't tell me any of these guys isn't competent enough to go play in the NHL right now. Augustine might need a little more seasoning, but I think Casa's ready now, to be honest with you. I really
I
do.
agree, and
Is he going to have his lumps? Sure he is, dude. It's hard to be a goalie. But
don't you don't say.
I mean, it is. It's just I think overall though he'll do just fine. I really do. And I think the Red Wings will be confident playing in front of him. I really do. I think he's going to give them that.
I honestly do think I'd like to see him get some actual reps next year.
If they're out of playoff contention, I'd love to see him get some this year.
Maybe.
But we'll see what happens. It's not looking.
I'm telling you right now, with how the Red Wings are, they'll always be close close that they're still technically have a chance until like the last 2 games of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's my prediction for how the rest of the year is gonna go.
Yeah,
That they'll win a
they got
couple
13
games.
games left.
They'll still have a couple games here and there that they'll win, and they'll inch closer, and they'll be like that 2-3 points behind. They're like, oh, there's still a chance, but then they'll
go out and
bullshit
win.
again.
Yeah, well,
and,
they just did March the way I expected them to, so I don't even have any.
yeah, they just put a
confidence
stat that they're the worst team in the NHL in March. So that
in the last several years.
Yeah.
It's not this year. It's not even
it
2 years. We're
was
talking
last
like
year for
2
sure.
plus.
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing. Be better. Sorry.
I mean,
I want to talk about something for a second. There is a disparity in high school sports, okay?
mm-hmm.
And that disparity is the public versus the private school athletic situation, okay? And that means essentially private schools now are paying their way and
Yes,
paying
they are.
for athletes.
They are.
I don't even want to say essentially, it's exactly what is happening. And public schools are left way behind. Public schools, the argument is that public schools have school of choice and they can get players who they want. And while that may be partially true,
It is to an extent.
it is to an extent, but it's not the same as, playing for a private funded, newer equipment, newer arena, travel accommodations or living accommodations and all this other stuff is not the same as like living in Flint and going to Grand Blanc. It's not the same.
Right.
And the level of competition that you're going to face on that privately funded team, let's call it what it is not the same as it is in a public scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking to get to the next league, why would you go play against weaker competition other than the fact that you think you're weak, honestly? Like usually the best want to play the best. And that's where you're going to find them is in private schools. And there's no way this can continue. The state of Michigan has got to do something because it is literally just like college now. It is directly pay for play, whether they want to admit it or not. It is not a secret. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. And you know who gets left behind is the kids. There are plenty of examples of really good public school teams that will run into one of these private schools in playoff tournament time and get absolutely mollywopped, and it completely derails the next 5 years because then these kids go, man, I don't want to go here or go there, or it can affect a lot of decisions there for future athletes too, and that completely can change the whole trajectory, of this school or the school's legacy or coach's legacy or whatever, and it's a damn shame, quite frankly. All you hear about is the prep schools and the charter schools and all of this. And how many times do you hear a Davison or, Grand Blanc, right? Like those kinds of teams. Are they decent for their divisions? Sure. But like how often do you hear them go win state titles? Not often. It does happen, friends, let
I
me
say
tell you,
Mason did not long
but
ago.
it's not as common. And the reason that is money. Let's call it for what it is. High school sports is NFL or NBA free agency, just like college, without the media rights deals, without the glitz and glam that and attention that it gets in the media. And I'll tell you what, there's high school coaches all over that are calling for change because, and I'll tell you this, there's some on the private side of things that are calling for change.
I mean,
What's your
it's
opinion on
gonna be it's just so tough to police it, and especially with some sports that I mean, some of those technically those sports are in a dying way because some schools just can't field a team because they don't have enough people, and also another problem where because a lot of kids will just end up going to private school,
There you
which
go. Feeds the
I
problem.
mean also the narrative has been forever that private school is also the better education
And
as well.
well, and think about this, man, and this is not to
So
credit
obviously,
one person or another, but like,
parents in this situation, yeah, I want to send my kid to Detroit Catholic Central to play hockey because he's going to get a good education, he's going to play a good hockey team.
yeah. And you know what? If you had a choice between a public or private school with a 4.0 and a little bit of talent in hockey, where are you going? Are you going public or are you going private? Like,
Yeah.
it's just so you get the natural flow of those will continue that direction so that the public schools can't bump those numbers up and show future athletes that like this is the place to be and we can still develop you too and all of that and it's just it sucks. It's a damn shame. Everything has changed in sports. Look, change is okay, right? It's not always my favorite thing to do in life, but it's okay. I just don't like the pay to play. We went from one extreme to the next, and we all wanted to land somewhere in the middle. That's ultimately what's happened, and it's a damn shame. And I really hope that somehow they can get their arms around it. I really do.
I mean, the only way I know they used to do this back in the day where private used to have their own division,
Right.
but I mean, some sports just don't have enough teams to even do that anymore. Like hockey is one of them,
Right.
where you can't even do that anymore.
Sure.
They've had to redo the divisions just in the last couple of years to accommodate how many teams they have now.
Yeah, it's a dying breed, man. It sucks, but it's the life we're in, I guess. So
But
we'll
it's
see.
totally different for like football and basketball
Hmm.
because obviously every school has those.
Sure.
Those will never be a dying sport. But to be honest, I mean you do see private schools somewhat dominate in basketball, but not so much in football. Football is pretty public dominated.
Mm. Depends on who you ask.
Well,
Honestly.
to an extent.
Yeah. So I mean, you could argue both sides, dude. Like I said, I'm not here to say the other side's completely wrong or completely right either. It's got to change. It's got to change. That's all. That's my
I mean
2 cents.
everything's got to change. Transfer portal and college sports got to fucking change. The salary cap in sports has to fucking change because some of this money that people are getting are just ridiculous. And
I agree.
so yeah,
Yeah. That's all I got to say about it.
I don't know. It's just something that you can deep dive in until you're blue in the face. But there's no really good answer to it.
No, there's
There
not.
really isn't because there's no way to police it. Because yeah, private schools got the money. Say, for your example, say a private school came up to Leo saying, hey, we want you to come play for our lacrosse program.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pay for you to go to this school.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you're gonna get a better education than you would at Grand Blanc.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need like travel expenses to get to the school, we'll accommodate that. Are you gonna say no?
It's gonna be hard. Honestly, I mean,
Exactly.
I'm not like that's just that's the natural reality that a lot of parents face nowadays. That's just the facts.
Because as a parent myself, like I would look at it for a as a education purposes more than anything. That's how I would personally look at it.
Yeah.
Because I look at it, say, yeah, you are, and from an athletic perspective, yeah, you are playing. Your team is better, but with how everything's shaped up now, you're still playing the same competition. Like you're
Yeah.
still playing the same schools for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But that's it. That's all I got. That's it.
Some states do have, like Texas can do it and Florida can do it, where they have like private divisions.
Mm-hmm.
And California does that as well, but Michigan's not big enough to do that.
No, not at all.
There's not I don't There is a lot of private schools, but there's not enough to have their own divisions, I would say.
No. We'll see, dude.
But time
After
to wrap this one up.
wrap it up.
So yeah, happy Friday to you all. Happy Sweet 16. Go Wolverines. Hopefully you can take over those Tigers,
Yeah.
from Auburn.
See what happens.
Give them hell.
Let's go blue.
Yeah, let's go blue. You all have a great weekend. I will be out of town next week, so we have some filler episodes for you. So hope you guys have a great week and a great week next week. I will talk to you when I get back.
Don't fall off the boat.
No, I won't.
See you later.